Hello, my name is Dr. Shubhendranath Bagchi. In an endeavor to discuss about first diffusion of Buddhism, I wish to take you to Nubra Valley, Ladakh. Anyone visiting Ladakh invariably plans to go to Nubra Valley to visit primarily two beautiful locations alongside Shiok River. Diskit, with oldest and largest monastery with a tall statue of Maitreya Buddha, and the cold desert or Hundar, which thrilling double hump camel ride. Rarely the tour operators take you to another direction along with the tributary Nubra or Siachen River that originates from Siachen Glacier in north. The catchment has great historical, anthropological and archaeological importance of being part of Silk Road of around 8th century AD. Traders and monks from Buddhist dominant Kashmir used to travel through entire length of Upper Ladakh before entering Nubra Valley. This is very well projected in the map. Some historical places are already highlighted and detailed in my previous two videos with links that are shown in description section. From here, the path deviates to Karakoram range through Saserla, and that leads to Karakoram Pass before entering China and Central Asia. Consequently, we see reminiscences of this era in the form of relics of Buddhist heritage spanning from 2nd AD to 8th AD. I take you to this otherwise less known passage in Trans-Himalayan journey. One by one, I shall bring about the towns and villages with respect to historical sites, artifacts, and excavation material in this region, particularly fortification and settlements, Buddhist carvings, ancient curtain, and petroglyphs or rock paintings. Now, Sumur was an intermediate stop point for Silk Road. In Sumur, there is one very famous monastery called Samstandling Monastery, and just behind the monastery are few rock carvings of bodhisattvas in Abhay Mudra standing on lotus base. The deity wears a crown displaying 4 pointed spike and a central element, along with rounded earrings, a plain necklace, and plain bangles at the arms, wrists, and ankles. These attributes are typical of Maitreya Buddha. The side valley of Sumur leads to a pasture land known with the name as Maral. Maral Valley has some of the outstanding fortification sites built in stones with double rampart or 2 layers of walls flanked by nice round towers and one bastion in Sogmakhar. Now these are some of the largest fortresses of Ladakh. The structure has similarity with forts used until 6th to 7th century. According to locals, this is a typical fort for defense purpose from invaders coming from Karakoram through Maral Valley. On the other ruined fort is seen across the fortress, but with watchtower standing on the hill. One can get a nice view of the confluence of Nubra River and Shiok River here. The next destination that we plan to go is Tirisha. Tirisha is where we have got primarily two types of structures. A fortified settlement can be seen on the slopes of the river, across the river actually. This is believed to be a soda ash storage settlement. Soda ash was perhaps used for smelting bronze and for glass manufacturing. Many partially ruined stepped churtans are seen here with quadrangle platform. The stepped churtans show a large square platform and steps of dome erected with a central wooden pole. The dome and superstructure have vanished completely and the wooden central pole sticks out from the top of the ruined monument. So it's just a heap of rubble, a mount of rubble around the pole that we see right here. Now we move to the next destination, and this is Penamik. This place has characteristic funerary graves or burial graves and tomb as flattened ground. The tombs consist of arrays of stones set in the ground with hollow pits in the middle resulting from the digging and looting. Now there are holes actually bordered with stone piles, and these underground holes are about 2 meter depth, and there the bodies are kept. Architecturally, these structures were found in western Tibet across Central Asia, which have been dated as old as Bronze Ages. Crossing the river other side is Insa. There are about 108 ancient churtins of different sizes and shapes like stepped and laddered churtins. Among them are of interest to us because they exhibit lotus module or small chorten module engraved onto the plinth. I have shown that in this particular picture, a motif rarely preserved in Ladakh, except for we see that Malakartse chorten that is in Zangla region. So these are perhaps the oldest chortens that we see. Among the chortens in Little Shrine, sheltering a stela of Avalokiteshvara in Rajleelasan Mudra. This is identified by Buddha in his crown and lotus that he is holding in the left hand. Avalokiteshvara has nimbus or halo ring and wears heavy round earrings as well as necklace and pointed armbands. Now there has been a shrine constructed later, and therefore it is now in the shape of a temple. Among the antiquities are 3 wooden pieces on the roadside leading to the shrine, carved in shape of lions. The lions display protruding eyes, open jaws, hanging out tongues, pearl necklace, and a flower motif between the back legs. Now from this place, that is Insa, we move into Murgi Tokpo. Now Murgi Tokpo is very famous for petroglyphs. The motifs are characteristics of rock art, and they are large ibexes, often isolated groups of ibexes, yaks, deer and horses, camels, etc. Hunting scenes of these animals are also typical in this site. The most frequently show 1 or 2 hunters on foot held by dogs. Battle scenes of archers are also common. These are rare images of hand and footprints as well as camels and riders. Different earlier chortens were also carved. There are about 3301 petroglyphs carved on 877 boulders. Murgi Tokpo becomes a very important epicenter for rock art in almost entire Ladakh. Now there are also chortens. So you have one very famous chorten called ladder chorten, that is Labab or descent from heaven type, that is rarely found in Nubra region and also in Ladakh in general. It is partially buried. As such, its plinth is not visible and its ladders descending from top the upper platform go directly into the ground. Another group of chortens are erected on plinths decorated by lotus petals. Now Digar is the next destination, and Digar is the village that is monumental ancient Buddhist carvings. This is carved on a tall boulder and depicts Maitreya. He wears a 3-pointed crown. In proximity of the settlement, we document a tall freestanding stela bearing bodhisattvas on its 3 sides. It is carved and depicted as Manjushri and Tara, and another with Vajrapani, and the third one is Padmapani. Now Tirit is the next destination, And then in Tirit village, large rock is still the object of worship, bears 4 figures standing in a straight Samabhanga posture. The central deity is perhaps Maitreya, identified by Cheriton in his crown. He is framed on right most by Manjushri holding the sword and the book, and on his left the Buddha and Bodhisattva, which was not identifiable. Now we have the confluence and we proceed toward Deskit, which monastery I have already discussed, which is believed to have a large fortified structure before monastery actually came into existence in 14th century. The last untouched remnant of fortification basically is a tower that is above the monastery. In the ruins, we have a slab enclosed within 3 ruined walls is found below the monastery. It bears the representation of 2 armed Maitreya and a 4-armed deity with the lower hands in Anjali Mudra. Another visible structure was the funerary ground. Now, this is a burial ground that we have seen earlier in Penamik. The main visible concentration of graves show above the 100 tombs. There appears to have been located in ancient times. Now then we go to the last village of this destination, that is Hundar. Now Hundar is known for camel rides. Around the fortified structures, we document 3 large Buddhist reliefs of Bodhisattvas. First, on general outlook matches with the Tirit and Digar region, a 3-pointed crown, large circular earrings, and Abhya Mudra are still visible. A second relief carved on large boulder stands at the confluence of the streams is the most elaborated of the 3, represents 4-armed Avalokiteshvara. The third relief is situated on the other side of the main stream, west of fortified settlement. We have got therefore 3 bodhisattvas at this particular place. So Digar and Hundar have quite a bit of similarity with respect to the Buddhist carvings. Both these places were the passage of Silk Road after crossing 2 major passes like Hundar Dock for Hundar and Wali Pass for Digar. They were connected from Leh. So Khardurlang, which is most popular presently, now connecting Nubra with Leh, was not much in use during earlier times. Hence the Buddhist carvings displayed quite similarity owing to their roots that comes from Leh into Nubra Valley. So to conclude, lithic artifacts at Tirisha point at the prehistoric occupation of Nubra. In early diffusion of Buddhism in Nubra, also well evidenced by the stone sculptures, for instance, the stylistic features of figures of Tirit's monuments relief are typical of Western Himalayan aesthetics. The various archaeological sites surveyed show strong influence from Central Asia and Tibet cultures. So thank you very much.